Well, good morning, Bakersfield, surrounding communities, everybody watching online on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. This is the Early Bird Special right here on this 26th day of March. It's opening the ML. Oh, it is such a good day.
It is a
It is
beautiful day.
such a good day. Go get a hot dog, whether it's a Dodger dog or just a regular ballpark Frank. Go sit down and watch America's past. The Major League Baseball is back. I shouldn't call it the because they hate calling the MLB. It is just Major League Baseball. But Major League Baseball is back. The Dodgers are on their way to potentially three-peat.
Yeah.
But we are all excited because everybody starts a 162 game season and everybody's got the same chances at that World Series title. I'm Chris Burdick. That is Sparky. Sparky, good morning, my friend.
Good morning.
Triton's up. What's up?
Yes, Triton's
What's
up.
going on today? What are we talking about?
Oh, we're going to definitely get into some baseball. We've got some news out of the NFL. Plus, I mean, not only is baseball starting up, which I guess we wouldn't really count last night's game because that was just ugly, but it was cool. I got some insights on what I thought of not only the game, but the coverage at Netflix. We'll talk about the expansion talks in the NBA. That is heating up. We'll have our boy Anthony Jauregui. He'll be joining us at 8 o'clock. Followed by, there was a little basketball tournament going on, and it's
Just a little one.
resuming today with the Sweet 16. So we'll talk money and betting and blah, 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 blah with our boy Bolt Brady. Will be joining us at 8:30. Plus, speaking of hot dogs, just an announcement. We've got some Condors tickets to next Wednesday's game, $2 Wiener Wednesday.
Absolutely.
And all you got to do is call or text in with your, let's say, who's going to win the World Series this year, World Series matchup, whatever. If you'd like to win some Condors tickets, call or text in 661-842-2000.
The slew of Dodger texts we're about to get right now. Is there anybody else? Dodger Blue. Let's go Blue. I get it.
Bring them on.
Totally understand. But we will get into that and much more because there are some teams that have a chance here to uproot your Dodgers and potentially take that crown away. It's going to be a tall task. It really, truly is. But Sparky's team, absolutely. The Seattle Mariners, number 3 right now on World Series odds. Say Las Vegas. That's pretty impressive, to be honest.
We'll see.
I'm excited. You guys have the night game tonight, taking on the Guardians. See if Big Dumper can start out his season correctly, and
He's
maybe
got to look better than Judge last night.
4Ks, brother. 4K. And now, mind you, the Yankees won 7-0, and it was handedly. They've got ugly. 5 of them in the second. And I said, Logan, apparently you left your good stuff at the World Baseball Classic along with Aaron. Let's be completely fair.
Max was on fire.
Maybe that's kind of the problem, though. Maybe these guys threw a lot of juice at the World Baseball Classic and just didn't have the juice for opening day. Doesn't matter. The rest of the Yankees stepped up and made it happen for them. But yeah, I was very surprised that Captain America himself, one of the best hitters in baseball, 0 for 5 in opening day.
He only has 160 something games left.
Exactly. That's what I was wondering. I was like, he's got plenty of time to make up those numbers, but 4 Ks in the first game, it's not a great look for what is one of baseball's number 1 hitters. I love Aaron Judge. I know he's going to turn this around. But I agree with you. Watching that yesterday, I was like,
ugly.
To be fair, I threw it on behind me during the Ralph Bailey show. And apologies why we weren't live yesterday. I had to go do my civic duty and do jury duty, unfortunately. But thank you to Judge Brownlee. Just throwing that out there. Yeah. He knows exactly why. But
what did you think about the coverage?
The coverage was awesome. I love what Netflix is really doing with these sports games. I think they're doing it right. You get a little bit of comedy out there with Bert. You get some great insight from their panel of commentators. I mean, it's really entertaining to watch. The only thing I need you to switch is the length of these commercial breaks. I had 6-7 minute commercial breaks, and I get it. It's baseball. I'm sure there was a ton happening at Yankee Stadium, but I want these baseball people, the TV people, to understand we're okay with seeing what's going on at the stadium. And in fact, a lot of the games that I stream, it comes off of, local networks where they really don't go to break. Sometimes they actually stay at the stadium and show you what's going on during the timeouts, especially at basketball games. I love that. I think that's great. Being able to see the fun little games that they do in between timeouts or, the baby races or whatever you got planned. one of the biggest things in baseball is the mascot races. I think that would be great to show on Netflix or on television. And with this new partnership between MLB and Netflix, kind of opens up that door. You really don't have to adhere to a lot of what television tells you to do. Now, granted, Netflix has their own sponsors and have to sell that as well, but we open the door to a brand new world with baseball. I think that if we show a little bit of what goes on in between the innings, it would be a lot more fun for the casual baseball fan. But that's just me.
I personally like the coverage. I did, uh, when commercial breaks, I get up and start doing other things, prepping for the show, starting laundry, whatever I had to do. And one of the things I really did like was the inning, the players mic'd up where they're just having a full on conversation during the game. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I've seen that with other coverage, but not for the full inning and not for the questions they were asking.
Right.
And I believe it was in the second inning when they were talking to second baseman Jazz
Chisholm,
and how he was talking about, the robot umps.
Yep.
And he said, dude, 90% of the players I talked to are all for it. He said, now you don't have anyone to blame.
Yeah.
And it was cool to hear it from a player, because we've heard it from former players, coaches, GMs, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But hearing it from a, active player and hearing what they think, I mean, there's no blame now.
And he even said it beautifully, which is not only is there no blame now, but it keeps the umps in check. It keeps the players in check. He even admitted, dude, we're wrong like 80% of the time. We think it's a strike or a ball, and we're just going to sit there and say nope, and then we're going to get it wrong. So who cares? It's part of baseball. I looked at statistics, too, of what we've kind of seen since ABS been put into the minor leagues. Defensive players, when they call for the review, about 60% of the time they're right. Batters, when they call it, just under 50. It's in like the 45, 46 range. So
I'm surprised it's that good.
Right? That's what I'm sitting here saying. Like, it's going to be a situation where games will be on the line. You're going to hear a ton of situations this year where some dumb batter decided to take the ABS call and they were wrong, or vice versa. Because there's a lot of former umpires and umpires right now that are coming out saying they don't like it because it embarrasses umpires. It embarrasses what their calls are. Like, it shows the lack of faith.
Shows they're human.
It just puts a little bit of backing towards your call, dude. Like, all it does is keep you in check. We have way too many umpires that take it upon themselves to make stupid calls.
And not just in baseball, but in all sports. We've heard, since the gambling issue has been such a big deal in all sports, there's always that one fan is like, oh, he's got it in for the Dodgers, or he's got it in for my team, blah, 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 blah. And I think this takes that away.
And I'd be willing to bet that 10% of the players that don't like it that Jazz is talking about, the vast majority of those players are pitchers. I guarantee it. Because again, much like batters, pitchers believe that everything close is a strike. Everything. So we'll keep them in check too. It's not necessarily an attack on the umpires, although guys like Angel Hernandez have made this pretty dang easy. But all it does is just put a little bit of honesty back in the game.
Yeah.
Because there's been many situations, much like the World Baseball Classic just a couple weeks ago, where there's some egregious mistakes by umpires, and they cannot deny that. Now, again, backing the umpire a little bit here, they've gotten a lot better in the last couple of years. I believe, statistically speaking, they're up to about 90% accuracy rating. That's pretty good.
And they even went into the stats of spring training and how much it cleaned up and how quickly it went. A lot of people are like, oh, it's slowing down baseball, and then you guys are trying to tinker with it every offseason. I think this one is a plus.
Amazing how high the statistic or the percentages can be when certain umpires are no longer in the Major League Baseball.
Exactly.
You shoo away the Angel Hernandezes, and guess what happens? Your numbers go up, and people actually start taking you a little more seriously. But again, it's baseball. You're going to hear a lot about it this year. I am very excited for opening day. Just to shout out a couple of the games that you could see tonight. The first game that you'll be seeing here right in the afternoon will be the Pirates and the Mets. You get Paul Skeens against Freddie Peralta on Peacock. We talked about the Guardians and the Mariners tonight. That's going to be a fantastic game. Tanner Beebe against Logan Gilbert. The Padres and the Tigers is going to be fun. Can Scooble get his third Cy Young in a row and join a list of incredible pitchers? We already talked about the Dodgers taking on the D-backs tonight, and my Phils taking on the Rangers. I want to see what team steps up early, though, and really gets the ball rolling, because that is what happens every single year in baseball. There's one team that starts out way hotter than anybody expected them to. Last year it was Seattle. I'm hoping this year it's Philly, but God only knows that this team has let me down more times than I think the Falcons have. But I am really excited to see which team steps up, especially in the NL, because with the gargantuan giant that is the Los Angeles Dodgers and the national Japanese team, it's going to be really hard for anybody to compete against a team that with that kind of talent. And bringing in guys like Tucker, a closer, the Dodgers are going to be really, really tough this season. So we will see what happens. I'm really excited. And I'm also excited that this is essentially the first step in what we talked about already. The MLB's opening into this new streaming world. I mean, I know the MLB technically was a hell of a lot faster to it than everybody else. They started MLB TV back in 2002. So they were way ahead of everybody in terms of streaming, quote unquote. But it has taken them 24 years to finally sign up with one of these major streaming platforms, making them the last major sports organization in America to really do so. The NFL's done it. The NHL's done it since 2021. NBA has done it now since about 2017. I don't know exactly what took baseball so long to catch on and say, hey, Netflix, let's make a deal. Maybe it was just because baseball was kind of dying for a while there and everybody was
Oh yeah,
concerned.
that was scared times.
But I'm excited to see that we are now moving into this new era of big broadcasting for baseball. I think it's going to get more eyes on the product, which is exactly what the heck they want. And if we get some exciting baseball games to start out the year, granted, I know 162 games is a long season, and most people aren't going to pay attention until after the All-Star game when there's about 60 games left. But with more opportunity to watch baseball, I think you're going to find more casual sports fans will find their ways to it. It'll ignite the popularity and the excitement around the league again. And we'll be talking a ton more baseball stories here in the next couple weeks, all because people are excited to watch the game. And then we'll talk about probably at the end of the year how they're going to shorten the season and make everything a little bit easier for people to digest.
Probably.
But that is what it is. Let's take an early break, my friend. We will get into some other stories on the other side. Puka Nakua obviously finding himself in some very serious waters here. But I have my thoughts on this. I don't know how legit this is. And I'll explain why on the other side. I think Puka might be finding himself in the middle of some blackmail here. But again, there's just some evidence to both sides of this, and we'll break it down for you as best as we can. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Sparky's trying to get the blood flowing for you this morning. It's opening day, so you need to be ready to go, man.
And like Slayer at 7 in the morning.
Absolutely. It goes right up there with your morning blech. But we got to shift over to the NFL. There's a ton to talk about. Not Dan Orlovsky going on this entire media tour trying to tell everybody that Simpson's better than Mendoza. But and there's more to that, apparently. I felt bad for him. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel bad for Dan a lot because he catches a lot of flack for his takes. Rightfully so. But as somebody who grew up taking a lot of flack for a lot of his takes, I understand why it's really frustrating sometimes, especially when you have facts towards it, but people just don't listen to you.
You're still Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're still the quarterback that ran out of the back of the end zone for the Lions, which he will never live down. But he got roasted by Pat and the boys the other day. I mean, laid into. McAfee and the boys just sat there and said, we were boots on the ground. We watched Mendoza. We watched the Mendoza against Alabama game. And they're like, really? Like, he took down Ohio State in a quarter. I agree with him. I'm like, dude, I get what you're trying to do. Again, it's the NFL. We're in the second quarter of essentially the draft talks. So you have to do something to stir it up. We can't just keep talking about Fernando. You have to throw somebody else's name out there. And you're not going to throw out, Carson Beck. I would say Garrett Nussmeier, but honestly, Garrett Nussmeier is picking up a lot of steam from what I understand. So maybe you would. But it's not Dan Orlovsky, if you are fed up with hearing about that. But it is Puka Nakua, who, once again, I love Puka. I do. I think Puka Nakua is probably one of the more genuine players in the NFL.
I liked him until late last year when he started talking. I was like, okay.
Now he's starting to get on people's nerves. But this situation that has come up is kind of interesting to me. And I'm sure you guys have heard all about it and have heard all about it yesterday. We didn't get to talk about it because, again, we weren't live. But Puka is now under fire for anti-Semitic remarks and biting a woman in the shoulder so hard that it broke skin. There's pictures of the bite, and you could see every single tooth in this man's mouth. I mean, if they needed a dental recognition, they could just take that picture, look at his freaking bicuspids, and say,
that's him.
That's you. I mean, you couldn't have taken a bigger bite out of this woman's shoulder. But here's the thing. This is the weird part about it, okay? Because this is what Madison Atibi, who is the woman who's alleging all of this, is saying that Puka did 3 months ago at a New Year's Eve event in Century City. Apparently, Atibi, Puka, and some friends are all hanging out, and Puka just out of nowhere, unwarranted, or at least from what we understand, just yells, F all the Jews. Okay, that's odd, but seeing as he just got in trouble for anti-Semitic situation not too long ago, I guess good for the crime kind of situation.
It could happen, yeah.
It could happen. And then she claims, after being incredibly thrown off by that and uneasy because she is Jewish herself, they got in the car with Puka, tried to leave, and that's where Puka bit her shoulder and apparently her friend's thumb as well. Weird story.
Yeah, there's more to the story, obviously.
There's tons
There's Paul Harvey.
But here's the thing. And this is what Puka's attorney, Levi McCatherine, is saying. They are claiming that for the last 3 months, this woman and her representation have been reaching out to them for hush money, essentially, millions of dollars.
You can shut this up.
To shut this up, exactly. And when they kept saying, no.
We'll see in court, Jed.
Apparently, they are claiming they have video evidence that proves that she is lying verbatim about all of this, and that all of this will be fixed as soon as that video comes out. I say drop it. We're in the world of social media. If that is so the truth, much like the Alan Richardson situation that just happened not too long ago, drop the video. If you want to be exonerated of all of this, that's the quickest way to do it. Just show us all what happened. But they're claiming this woman and her representation have been reaching out to them for months, wanting hush money for this, and essentially saying if they don't do that, that they were going to come forward and make all this, come to light. I don't know about you, Sparky, but I don't know a lot of people that have been assaulted and are willing to just reach out to the person and say, you know what, if you give me a couple million, I'll shut up about this.
Right.
I'll sign an NW or a non-disclosure agreement. I'll do whatever the heck you want me to do if you send $5 million. Especially now that he's just about to get signed to the most lucrative contract in wide receiver history in the NFL.
And it's so hot and cold. I mean, if she's got proof, obviously, if it's his teeth, then they can easily match it.
100%.
And if he has video that says he didn't, or there was more to the story, then he has the answer. So, I mean, it's one of those things. If she's been reaching out for money, obviously, it sounds fishy. I mean, let the attorneys do their job. And two, if he's got proof that he didn't do it, or he's got a better story on why he did it, then let's see it. Let's get it over with.
Well, I'm just saying, it's a coincidence that all this happens right before the kid's about to get paid. And now we got talking heads like TJ Hushmanzada. Love the guy as an NFL wide receiver. But he's now going on his podcast with Emmanuel Acho saying they should sign into a franchise tag and trade him if he doesn't get his stuff together.
I've also heard people bad talking, Puka's probably going to get one of the highest paid contracts, and Puka wouldn't work in any other offense except the Rams. It doesn't matter because he's on the Rams.
It does not.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter.
No, it does not.
No.
And LaShawn McCoy brought up a great point, too, on that same podcast. It doesn't matter. He's going to be the richest man in a building.
And Rams aren't trading that guy.
No.
Heck no. I mean, I did hear or read stories a couple of weeks ago when the story or the NFL season started that they were actually hinting at trading Puka or Devontae, that they were looking at it and seeing, okay, well, if we swap him with A.J. Brown, would that work? Obviously, they clearly stepped back and said, no, we got our guy.
Yeah, I'd heard that as well. I'm not 100% sure how much of an increase that would have been.
I'm not 100% sure that they're that silly that they would get rid of Puka, because Puka runs that offense.
He does, absolutely. And he is the biggest rising star for their organization since Cooper Kupp. So I don't think that they're really planning on moving off of Puka at all. In fact, I'm pretty confident that they're just going to sit there and say, we're going to wait this one out and see how it happens. Now, for Puka's situation, though, this is pretty serious, because if this is legit, if all of these things that she's alleging are true, this could be seen as a hate crime. This legitimately can be seen as a hate crime. I mean, you're saying anti-Semitic remarks when there is a Jewish woman that you're hanging out with, and then you bit her. That could be seen as a hate crime in some states, man. And if you're drunk, that is what it is, but that's no excuse. Clean it up. You know who you are. You're one of the biggest professional athletes out there right now. You have to be smarter than this. It's just like the Cam Scadaboo situation. We said it with him. As much as we love Cam, know what you're saying. Know that everybody's going to be hanging on every word that comes out of your mouth, smart or stupid, and they're going to highlight it.
Yeah. And a big shout out to my boy, Dr. Richard Gearhart out of Cal State, a diehard Giants fan. And I had the same question after the Scadabo comments. I asked him yesterday, what's your thoughts? He said, dude, it's Scadabo, dude. Like,
he's a dummy.
He's a dummy. He's that's what's going to happen. He said, and I would be happy with 3 or 4 solid Scadabo years, but he said he's the definition of CTE if he continues to play the way he is. But going back to the Puka thing, do you feel like, I mean, obviously we're going to find out if this video is real, if the bites match, but do you think this feels more like a money grab from her?
Yes. Again, that's why in my head, this screams blackmail, because again, much like I was just saying, when people have an opportunity to make money off of you, vast majority are going to do that. That's just how humans are.
And while the iron's hot, he's already been in trouble for some comments.
Exactly.
And they know someone is about to get paid.
Also why I think it's kind of odd with the F all the Jews comment. That seems to me like she probably doesn't have proof that he said this, but she's saying that because, like I said earlier, good for the crime kind of a thing, with the anti-Semitic stupidity that he did, and he immediately apologized for, claiming he had no idea which honestly, I believe he probably had no idea.
I mean, it's probably an easy grab. Grab a couple friends that were at the party, like, hey, you
Exactly.
want to split a percent of this?
Exactly. And it is what it is. I think that this is all going to come to light very soon here, and hopefully Puka is exonerated from all of these alleged these alleged remarks and actions that he did claiming Mrs. Atibi. But I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like this. I don't like this for Puka. Obviously, this is just putting a bad light on him as a whole. And Tommy Gunn brings up a good point in the chat. It's like we say about Tyreek Hill. How much are you willing to deal with headache wise before it's too much? I mean,
Put yourself in those situations, man,
right,
and being around people that Tyreek is the perfect comparison,
right.
because he continued to put himself in those situations.
And why
If
is
his agent, if his attorneys were on him, like, go back in your room and play Roblox or whatever the
right?
hell you've been playing.
And why is it always wide receivers?
Why?
Why? Why is it
They're
always wide
hotheads.
receivers? Y'all are so crazy nowadays that we don't even talk about corners anymore. It used to be corners.
Yep.
Now it's wide receivers. But again, I think, again, much like the Cam situation, this just needs to go down as a young athlete learning a valuable lesson, which is know who you're hanging out with, be able to trust those people not to screw you over and blackmail you, and don't do anything possible that could give them ammunition. Because again, your lawyer is claiming this bite was horseplay. And I understand there are people out there that do see that as horseplay. I've been
Yeah.
around it.
I got a guest coming in at 8:00. It's probably all over that.
Oh, 100%. But I cannot stress this enough. You are a professional athlete about to make the most money out of anyone ever at your position. Be smart, because there are vultures out there that are going to suck every bit of that money out of you.
They see that 1% opportunity, they're gonna jump on it.
I hate to bring his name up in this light because I love this man. Case in point, Joey Porter. I love Joey Porter. Grew up a massive Joey Porter mark solely because he was from here, but also because he was a Hall of Fame linebacker, one of the best pass rushers in the league at his time. And he also was getting paid very lucratively from the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins. You ask him how much he has now, he'll be open with you about it. I won't share his business, but there are people out there that really aren't looking for the best thing for you.
Yeah, he put himself in his own situations, and I won't bring up the other stories that happened locally with him.
Mhm.
I was a big Porter fan. I had my Porter Dolphin jersey. I've got an autographed one in my office.
Yep.
And I mean, I love me some Joey Porter and his son. But you put yourself in those situations, and you get, there's a reason why famous people usually stay in their own homes or stay in their own areas, in their own circle. But
Yep.
before we get into other NFL news, there was another law story, or
Are you talking about the Frank Thomas
yeah,
story?
and I
Yeah, I
wanted
was
just
about to bring this up
I
too.
just wanted to ask you, because I mean, he's suing not only the White Sox but Fanatics
Yep.
and
And Nike.
for selling jerseys and gear with his name and numbers on it without any signing or any percentage sharing.
Right.
Now, do you think this is? I mean, obviously, you think the White Sox? That's one of the first names I think of.
Right. I mean, again, if Frank Thomas is the White Sox.
He is.
Just so I have this right, because I highlighted this on the story. He's the franchise leader in offensive WAR, on base percentage, slugging percentage, OBS, runs scored, doubles, home runs, RBIs, and walks, among other categories. This man is
Yeah.
the White Sox.
I mean, just asking you. I mean, Thomas is saying that they used his likeness without permission, which I understand. It's a business.
Illegal.
You're a professional.
It is illegal.
Should teams have the right to use former players like this?
Hell no. To be honest, no.
I agree.
If you're paying today's athletes that money, you cannot exclude former athletes from that money.
And they weren't in the money grab at that time. You know what I
No.
mean? What these backup players are getting paid more than the Big Hurt was getting paid.
That's like the Pirates benefiting off of Roberto Clemente
And we
and
talked
not
about that.
paying the Clemente family money.
Exactly.
That's not okay. You have to pay these men for what you're using their likeness for. And he's got a very, very, very strong case here, in my opinion. Because again, like you said, they used his number and his likeness on the City Connect 2.0 jerseys. And really all he's asking for is $50,000 in excess money that should have been his. In the vast scheme of things, really not that much money, but it's fair to him.
Well, they'll continue to do it if no one
Right.
steps in.
And exactly the precedent you would be setting if you allowed this is dangerous. Because if we're just going to sit there and say the White Sox can do this to literally their franchise's best player, there is no, I don't care. Like, unless there's a White Sox fan right now that could text in and tell me a better White Sox, which you can't.
You can
I'm
try,
sorry,
but there's not much.
That's like saying there's a
Robin
better
Ventura or Steve Sachs. I mean, who else you got?
It's like saying there's a better Dodger than Jackie. Like, what?
Right.
No, I'm sorry. No.
And I mean, with this team has just been garbage for a while. I understand where they were trying to get maybe some type of pump and sell some merch, sell some tickets,
Sparky.
throw in a percent, man. That's all he wanted.
The man was a 2-time MVP before I was 1 year old.
And it's not just the team; it's Nike, it's everybody. I mean, it's
Nike and Fanatics is what it is. They're just doing what the team wants. But at that point, you are still on the.
They're
still
not Foot Locker. They're not some little corner shop.
Right.
They are in business with the major leagues.
And that's what always bugs me, though, is these guys do this all the time as if we haven't had situations that have highlighted how stupid that is. We have so many teams and so many organizations all the time try to cut corners so they don't have to pay a certain person or they don't have to pay liability or whatever. All you have to do is just pay them a little bit of it. It's not like you're not going to get plenty more hand over fist. Like, just pay the man what he is owed. It's that simple.
Yeah, just cutting corners. And it's the same thing if you're a collector like myself. There's always that one item you want or a signed thing you're trying to get somebody, and it only takes $20 to send an item into JSA to get it approved. But people try to cut corners. Oh, I swear, I have the picture. I met him, blah, 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 blah. But going to this, I mean, this is not the first time.
No, I was just about to bring that up. It was not like, for people who are listening to us and saying, well, he's a player that should be thankful that the White Sox even took a shot on him. True.
He sold a lot of tickets for you guys.
You absolutely did. But let's also not forget, there is no love lost right now between Frank Thomas and the White Sox after the way they treated him. If you don't remember the end of his tenure with the White Sox, remember that after finishing top 10 in MVP voting, winning a Silver Slugger, the general manager of the White Sox at the time, Ken Williams, and again, I'm reading off of this, I apologize, invoked the diminished skills clause in Thomas's contract, which dropped his salary from $10 million to $250,000. This man had one of the better statistical years at his age at that point, but because the White Sox just didn't want to pay him $10 million, they made a incredibly rough decision for Thomas to cut his pay. Well, I don't even know the percentage of that, Sparky. 80%, 90%.
It's up there. It's
robbery. That is robbery. That is highway robbery. And they're doing it again. So yeah, no, I'm not on the White Sox side on this at all. Frank Thomas, I hope you get more than what you're asking for. I hope they have to cut you in on 50% of the entire jersey sales, period.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
I just cannot get over the fact that they tried to do this again to the best player that has ever played for their organization. That is incredibly just stupid.
When I read that story, I was like, I don't know if we're going to get to it, but this one pissed me off.
Oh, I do not blame you. It pissed me off too, and I'm glad that we brought it up.
One of my favorite players growing up. I wasn't a White Sox fan, but we had WGN because I watched the Bulls every other night.
But again, it's more about the respect of what this man gave you.
And disrespect, exactly.
Like, we're talking about the other day, we're talking about the right to retire jersey numbers and how what that means to athletes. Shoot, just doing right by them in general, what that means to athletes. I feel so bad for Frank Thomas. I really do. If I were Frank Thomas, I would look at the Hall of Fame and say, "Hey, let's scratch off the White Sox.
And just leave my
Let's
name.
just leave it. Who did I play
Leave my
for
name in the
3 years after
stats.
the White Sox? Let's say them.
Just
We're
do
gonna
that.
give it to them because at this point, the White Sox do not give a damn about Frank Thomas. And if I'm a White Sox player or any incoming baseball player, and I see this, especially if you're a generational talent, I don't want to play for the White Sox. Look what they did to Frank Thomas. What are they going to do to me? I do not know. Nah, I'm good. I'm absolutely good. I would not want to play for that organization in any way. I would be so out. God, the White Sox are dumb. They are so dumb.
It was ridiculous.
I'm sorry. There's a reason why I will always love the Cubbies more than the White Sox. It is what it is. Let's take a break. We got a whole ton of other stories to talk about. The NFL and the referees have hit a stall. So it looks like we might be getting D3 refs in the NFL at some point this season, which is going to be really ugly. And on the opposite side of this as well, teams are now being asked to start the NFL season on a Wednesday because the game that was supposed to be on Friday has to be played on Thursday because of a rule that they made back in 1961 that says certain football games can't be played on a Friday or a Saturday between this day and this day. It's the dumbest thing in the world. It really is, but I have to break it down for you on the other side. This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back.
Lime's putting out a new album.
With Rome?
No, I believe
The original singer's back?
he's back.
Oh, fantastic.
No, I believe it's his son or one of the band members' sons that are singing for him.
Well, I'm never.
I'll take it.
Even when it was Sublime with Rome, it was really good stuff. So I'm pretty confident that whatever they drop is going to be
live music.
I know.
New music would be awesome. No covers.
Like, let's leave those alone for a while, please. It's like the Disney remakes. We really don't need any more of this. We really don't.
It's hilarious. My son was taking an AP test yesterday, and he said the teacher, it was a pre-test, and the teacher said, we usually wouldn't play music during a test, but we're going to let you guys play whatever you want. And he said they were playing Disney instrumentals. He said it was just horrible.
That is awful.
You just hit a nerve with that one.
That is no. Why? That is not music you need to be listening to.
We don't need to hear this.
Really? You're taking an AP test and all you hear is, let's get down to business. No, I'm good. I can't do it. Let's talk.
Which one do you want to get into? Because there is a lot of crap going on in the NFL.
I know, and we have little time to get to it. Plus, we have to talk about the NBA's expansion and what Adam Silver had to say about that as well, because he had some interesting comments during a presser that I wanted to highlight. But let's start with the referees. We talked about this a couple days ago. The NFL referees and the NFL are at an impasse right now for their CBA, which ends May 31st. Now, we told you guys, I believe about a week ago, if not a little bit less than that, that the NFL is already planning on having substitute referees just in case a lockout does happen or a strike. Unfortunately, that's Division III football referees, which means we might be getting some really ugly games to begin the season. However, it's still football, and we're still going to be able to enjoy it. And basically what the referees are asking for people who don't know, they just want to be full-time employees, just like everybody else. They're just not full-time employees right now. And according to sources, they get about $350,000 annually. That's still pretty good for somebody who's a part-time employee.
Does that pay for travel and all that?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because from what I've read here, it says the compensation structure includes game fees, bonuses, meeting fees, preparation fees, and other benefits, which I would assume means travel benefits.
Oh, yeah.
They just want to be known as full-time employees, because I'm sure there's a lot of, legal things that go on when you're not full-time in these jobs. I would not be able to tell you. Maybe we can ask Snacks what the difference is between the full-time and not full-time referee.
Some insurance, some probably life insurance or something.
Absolutely. The NFL is countering the offer with 10% increase in game fees across the board for the regular season and up to 30% for those who work on the Super Bowl. But they also are seeking agreements to improve officiating performance.
Ding, ding, ding.
So basically, much like what we see with the MLB umpires, they want to be able to keep you in check, just in case there are situations, as we've talked about before, where referees make very egregious calls or non-calls that dictate the end of a football game. And then we have every conspiracy theorist on Instagram and TikTok and everywhere else.
Weren't they already addressing that?
They were supposed to.
I thought that's going to be an extra review.
It is. But again, that's what the NFL wants. They want to be able to keep things within a box that they could control, so they can't, they can essentially stop all the conspiracy theories of the NFL controls these games through the referees. I'm pretty sure that's essentially what they want to fix here.
They want control of the shield, of course.
I don't see that as a bad trade-off at all.
Considering your job as a referee is probably in a bubble right now,
right,
with all the robots.
And that's the other thing I think that they're concerned about, is the potential of that coming up here very soon.
This could be our final push.
With ABS, I know a lot of people are sitting there thinking it's not going to affect other sports. Yeah, it is. Because when we find out how good ABS is going to be for baseball,
it's going to be all sports.
Yep. Especially when they bring in the bat check evaluation for your swings and stuff, exactly, that we talked about a week ago. That's going to be huge for baseball.
You could think of any sport and think how robots would make it better.
Yep.
Well, I mean, all the NBA, they could be, the walking in football, the referee or the interference calls that they didn't miss. I mean, there's holding calls on every call. So that's where the human touch, I think,
Needs
which one's
to
going to
still
be
there.
They're
Yes.
going to have to do something with the holding,
Right.
because that's the biggest one. They could call that on every play. So which one is the robot going to be more intrigued by? And like we talked about to start the show, is the strike zone.
Right. And again, Richie Garcia is the umpire that has come out and really been vocal about this, how it'll embarrass referees and umpires if you move this way. I disagree with Richie. I get what he's saying. I do. Because he's right. Technically, if someone makes a call and he's wrong, he's going to get berated by fans, especially if it's early on in the game. But we have to have something to be able to hold these guys accountable for bad calls or no calls. So it is something that I think we're going to be headed towards in every sport, especially when every sport sees how good it's been, or is going to be, I should say, for Major League Baseball. So I'm sure the NFL referees are worried about that as well, that the potential of their jobs being taken away as a whole. But I also say, if you don't exactly find an agreement here and they figure out a way to do that with you guys in a lockout, you may never get your job back, period.
That's the one.
So what side of the coin are you really asking to fuck?
Let's hear what sport fans really think. Daily Dave's got his input on these refs.
Dave, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Great show so far. Hey, pay them. Make them full-time employees.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they'll be less likely to want to fix a game if they're being paid well.
Right. And obviously, a big thing that comes with paying these guys is insurances and stuff. Do you think that they should get the same deal as the NFL players? Because, I mean, for those who don't know, NFL players, depending on how long you play in the league, they get health benefits for years after that, and a compensation bonus, I believe, that comes in a monthly check.
I think they should get everything that they can. They're putting their life at risk when they're out. And you know how I feel about it. Get some younger officials in here that are gazelles that can keep up.
Right.
Not so much. I wouldn't want to be out there reffing at 69-year-olds trying to keep up with these gazelles out on the football field.
Do you think a retirement plan will be a part of this as well?
I think it should be. If you're going to be a full-time every full-time
401k or something. Yeah, absolutely.
I had retirement that I could put money into to try to, save for the rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
So no, upgrade, pay them well, make them full-time employees. I've said it before, and hey, it's opening day.
Absolutely.
Time for Dodger baseball.
Well, don't freak out if your Dodgers lose game 1, though, Dave. There's 161 left. I mean, the Giants looked pretty embarrassing last night, so that's got to be fun.
Hey, it's going to be a great season. I just hope, everything goes well for everybody involved, all the American League, all the National League, and just looking for good baseball.
So I think everybody can automatically assume that Shohei will win the MVP again this year, but who do you think wins the Cy Young?
Wow. Well, that's what he's shooting for, right? That's his goal. He wants to be a Cy Young baseball pitcher.
I heard rumor that his goal this year is 20 wins as a pitcher.
Wow.
And that's going to be tough because obviously the Dodgers have him on a pitch count and an inning count. So it's going to be hard for a lot of those starts to be wins when he's only going to be pitching maybe 5 innings. And you're going to have to be pitching perfect innings to pull that off.
Yeah, but 2 seasons ago, he had almost a perfect 50-50.
True.
The day he went 6 for 6, I've never heard of a guy going 6 for 6. So if anybody can do it, we're blessed to be watching what we're watching this day and age,
Well, I'm trying to remember, what was that A's rookie last year that had a 4 home run game or something like that? Like we've got a lot of really good talent coming into baseball in the next year and a half or two. I believe actually Philly has Carl Crawford's son starting in center field today, Justin. That'll be really fun to see too.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's a lot of talent out there. We're just lucky to have them with us.
Absolutely.
At LA, I've been a lifelong Dodger fan since I was 7 years old. So I got 62 years.
You took the heart away from the Angels, my friend, but Mike Trout is still out there, so you never know. Maybe another team or another player from LA might be swapping over.
Hey, I would love a freeway series.
Right?
That would be fantastic.
We'll see what happens.
Angels, the old California Angels versus my LA Dodgers.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens, my friend. Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate you, Dave. We got to take a break, though. We got our guy Anthony Jauregui from the Well coming on right now. And then after that, Bolt Brady will help you make your bets for the Sweet 16 at 8:30. So if you're looking to make some money on the Sweet 16, he's the guy to listen to. Trust me. I need to pick his brain on what his bracket looks like right now, too, because as somebody who has 7 of his possible 8 Elite 8 still alive, I'm sitting pretty happy right now. Not going to lie. Let's take a break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with our guy, Anthony Jauregui. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Welcome back. Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. Opening day in the MLB. Although, again, we shouldn't call it the MLB. Apparently, they don't like that. It's just Major League Baseball. They don't like the Major League Baseball, which I don't understand why. I really don't.
They got to bitch about something.
I know. I mean, it's baseball. It's all the complaining. I mean, they do complain a lot.
I don't like the robots.
The people, I'm just saying, the writers and everybody in baseball complain a ton about stuff. It actually is kind of annoying at times. But Anthony Jauregui from the Well is here, and we're not going to complain about that.
No, hopefully not.
Yeah, hopefully not.
I'd have to leave.
Well, then start complaining. No, I'm just kidding. Good to see you, dude.
Good to see you. You're telling me about some food poisoning you had off
No,
there. Sorry, I don't know
again.
if that was HIPAA. I'm not breaking any violations here, right? You know,
Don't even bring that up. My throat started swelling up.
I was telling him I'm hungry because, again, my stomach's been kind of jacked up the last couple of days. I don't know exactly what I ate, but it is what it is. That's not why we weren't here yesterday, but it is.
I feel like if there's a day my stomach isn't jacked up, that's when the rapture's
See, that's
coming.
exactly.
It's
That's
like,
what I said. That's what I think
Yeah.
too. Now maybe it's something serious that I should get checked out, but until I need
we
to. I'm
we
good.
went to the Well Saturday night, and we stopped by Camino Real, which I don't know why I said that, but I love Alejandro and his cooking. But every once in a while, I'll try something new, and I had some Thai chicken something. It was leftovers that my wife didn't finish, so I finished it that night. I woke up Sunday morning, my throat was swollen shut. Could not
Wow.
breathe. I had to rush to urgent care, and I learned that there's seasoning in Thai that
Yeah,
I
we gotta
cannot
figure out what you're allergic to, my friend.
Dude,
so I'm
you're
not just messing with it.
That's
So you-
something that's very, very serious.
you had like an allergic reaction.
Yeah, dude.
or
I woke
what?
up and I couldn't breathe.
I am
I've woken up
so
like that
happy
at a
you
couple
woke
birthday
up.
parties. Yeah,
I'm sure you have, but
yeah.
that's not my role. My wife, I was like, babe, I need something. She gave me Benadryl, sit there for 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was getting worse. So
Yeah.
they gave me a big old steroid, knocked me out for 5 or 6 hours.
How are you feeling now? Is your throat still closed?
I'm feeling
up,
good.
or-
I'm still taking the steroids for, I think tomorrow's the last day.
Yeah, I was worried because I know you said you was jury duty, but I was like, why are you guys out on Wednesday? What's going on? I was like checking the Kern County activities, making sure there was no like cars turned over or nothing. There was
Not that,
Not again. Well, although, no, I'm just kidding. No, I did. I had to do my civic duty, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But again, thank you to Judge Brownlee. He knows why.
thank you. Hey, real quick on that though, is I don't know about you guys, but we've heard this, right? Where they're like, you're about to do jury duty, and you tell your buddy, you tell someone like, hey, you know what you got to do to get out of jury duty.
I
right?
know. Everybody says that, dude, but I don't think that works anymore.
Are we talking about the same thing?
Yes. I don't want to get into it, but yes, trust me.
I didn't
So
get
now
it.
we know how you get out of it.
I never received it.
Financial strength. Yeah.
Yes.
Financial constraints. That's what I
Back in the day, it said, you work in media, they would send you
Yeah.
home.
Oh yeah, they and I still believe that holds true to certain degrees, depending on how serious the case is.
Oh, yeah.
They will send you home because they don't want you talking about it.
Oh,
on air.
right.
And because that's how I think I got out of the first one I did, or the first one I got called for a couple years ago, because I was a producer for multiple political shows, and I wrote that down on the questionnaire. They said, "What do you do for work?" I said, "Oh, I'm a producer for radio."
Yeah.
And I think they saw that and said, "Oh, we can't have this kid on here. He's going to be talking about it with the host, and we're going to be in
You're
so
like,
much trouble."
So this is day 3 of the murder trial.
Exactly.
What you got,
It's
Burdick?
like, so what happened today?
What's really
Well,
going on?
let me tell you. No, I'm just kidding.
Start a whole podcast about it.
Are you a baseball fan?
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm
No, not really.
I feel like sometimes I gotta act like
No.
I am certain fans
No.
of things.
Tennis,
I know a lot
yes,
of
but
people that
baseball, no. Huh?
Well, I'm just like, dude, I know how to throw the ball. I can catch.
I
I can
throw
do
my
I can do a
baseball.
grounder.
yeah, as a
but
field grounder. Absolutely.
I coached softball for my nephew, even though I'd never played baseball or softball ever, and he
Poor
was like
kids.
a little kid. Yeah, poor kids. They lost to a guy that was like doing crack in the dugout or something.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, if the park is on East Bell Terrace Avenue, you got to watch out, dude. Just if you know, you know.
I don't
But,
know why the movie Hardball just came to my head. But
someone got hit with the hard ball for sure. But dude, I don't know anything about baseball. Man. I watched the Dodgers win in the finals
Right.
last year. Like that was like the only time I ever watched a game. I was like, oh, this is good. You did the popcorn, you did the
Game
nuts. I was like,
7.
dude, this is. Man, I could get behind this, but apparently I found out, like, from the people I was watching with, I was like, oh, yeah, this, like, never happens. This is not how the games are.
Yeah,
Couple
traditionally
game
they're
sevens
not
in the
that
playoffs
exciting.
last year. It was an exciting playoff. And I mean, if you're gonna be a baseball fan, I mean, you might want to watch it now before the lockout comes because I think that's
Yes.
next.
Oh, I've been listening. You guys are talking about this, right? It's the referee thing, or is that the
Well, that's
NFL?
football. Baseball is the CBA with the players is coming up,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's what's going to be the big problem. Is the owners are being asked for a salary cap and a salary
Oh,
floor.
right. I've been hearing about this. Yeah.
And the players don't want that because that means that limits how much money they can make.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard a ton of players, including guys like Bryce Harper, come out and say that's never going to happen. Like
Mhm.
the players will never allow a salary cap or a salary floor. And it's kind of just a minute mindset that's really going to lead to a lockout, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Yeah, people weren't happy when all the All-Stars were going to one team.
Yes.
And they're like, well, our smaller market, we can't afford to pay Ohtani this and that for the next 20 years. And I think they're going to find a middle ground because nobody wants to lose money.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to do something.
So it's like, the Seattle Mariners or whatever team is in Seattle is like, hey, we have a little small team up here and we can't compete with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Not them, but like an example, right?
In a way, yes. It's more guys like Pittsburgh or Kansas City or or the A's, owners that really don't like to spend a whole ton of money.
Okay.
But I mean, again, fans have a growing idea that any owner can just pay the money. They all have the money to do this. We've broke it down a couple times. They really don't. If you look at it's more of the revenue. Like the amount of money the Dodgers make compared to everybody else is drastic.
Yeah.
So much like Sparky brought up, not a lot of people can afford to pay a guy like Shohei Ohtani the money that they're paying him for as long as they're paying him, and get the same amount of money back year over year to really pay for that contract.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like everybody could offer it to Shohei, but your team would be going into debt because your team doesn't make that money to pay it off. Only the Dodgers do, or the Yankees would, or whomever. So it's a skewed situation.
This sounds just like when I bought my Dodge Challenger. I was like, I'm going to get this car and I'm going to get a bunch of B's with it. There's going to be a bunch of people with me. I'm going to be rolling, making a bunch of money. And then you realize all those years, like, man, I didn't do anything to
really
keep up with
exactly.
This. And now I have this investment that I have this player, dude. So I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Right. And again, I'm not saying that these teams aren't making a ton of money still, because they are. The A's made, I think, like 50 mil last year, but they only, people are looking at the base of how much they make, which I think was like $100 million, and then 40 of that went to their team.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to take into account all the people they're paying for the food, all the people they're paying to serve that food, all the people that they're paying to run the team in the front office. You still have a ton of money that has to be allocated to other areas.
Yeah. Like even in like NFL too, it's like, we'll think about like the Jets, for instance. Maybe their stadiums aren't completely full for all the games, but there's only 16 of them or 17 of them.
Right.
And in baseball, you have half the year where you have to pay all these people to do all these things, which would it feels like you'd be making more money, but it's also like quantity over quality. But like, so there's a lot of games, people can go to a lot of them. So I assume, I haven't been to baseball games. I feel like if it's not the Dodgers, maybe they're not all packed with people every single time, right? I feel like it's kind of just like whoever goes to a game. It's never like super sold out or anything, right? So,
and if you wanted to, I mean, a lot of those teams, Dodgers have it made. I mean, they've got a great park. They've got a huge backing.
They got a fan base that'll drop as much money as they need to fill that place
I'm not a Dodger fan, but I go to a game or two a year if I can.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, you got to pack it up like you're going to Disneyland because parking's not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You got a family that you got to feed beers, drinks, hot dogs, whatever.
And it still baffles me that the parking lot is owned by a compcompletely different family than who owns the stadium.
That's business,
so
baby.
Either way, they're in the same family of 1%ers, that have all the money in the world.
And they're like, thank you, Ohtani. We appreciate you.
Hey, speaking of Ohtani, dude, and Dodgers have this international market. I don't know how many. I mean, obviously, there's like Latino American countries and stuff, but like, I don't know how many other Japanese players on other teams. You go to Little Tokyo in LA, dude. There's just Dodger gear everywhere.
Yeah, he's a god out there, dude.
Everywhere.
Well, all 3 of them are
dude,
now.
I know, right? I'm like, I don't even know who these guys are. They look like anime characters. They're just like painted on the wall, and everyone's putting flowers around them. Like,
oh yeah, we go to Chinatown, and it is everywhere.
There's more coming too. Trust me. Shohei is being sent to Japan essentially to just scout the best Japanese baseball players to come over, and the Dodgers will have the first pick on all of them.
So what's up with Japanese players being good at baseball? Has this always been a thing?
Oh no,
this has
been a thing for a long time. Baseball is beloved in many different countries, including Japan, and they really have created an incredible farm system essentially over there for the majors now, because their Japanese league is very successful, but it's not going to be or MLB successful.
I wish we had that with NFL. Maybe there is.
That's what they're trying to do,
right?
Really,
yeah,
right.
Like international games, right? Like I saw a lineman from Mexico. I was like, all right, si se puede. All right, let's do it, Theo. And then you see a lot of Nigerians and West Africans and stuff. But I'm like, dude, I like to see El Salvadorian kick a ball in the NFL.
They're trying to get rugby players here and there.
Yeah,
a lot of Irish kickers are coming in.
We have Packers have an Irish kicker.
Yes, a lot of Irish kickers I'm noticing are coming in. I think it's because football for so long was just seen as a solely American sport. Yeah. Nobody else wanted to touch it because of how violent it was, compared to basketball and baseball, which really just grew like wildfire. Yeah. It was nuts how much I still am baffled how serious some countries take basketball.
Oh yeah.
From what I understand, certain countries literally only focus on basketball, kind of like certain countries only focus on wrestling. It's life for them.
Yeah, if you're in basketball and you see the highlight, doing a story on a guy that started in a village, and he has a backboard with an old carton of milk bucket in dirt field. It's dude,
Joker, dude, Joker, Slovenia, right? Isn't that where he's from?
Yeah,
this dude could not care less about playing basketball. Let's be honest. He's just really, really, really good at it. So that's how he makes his
goats money.
And exactly. He would rather be on a farm.
They're like, what do you want to do now that you won? He's like, I want to win. I want to race horse.
I want to go back to my farm.
I think he just knows that he can make a ton of money doing this, and has known that since he was a kid. And that's just what Slovenia does, is that they focus on it and they say, you're going to go to America and make all that money and live your life.
He's just saving up so he can be half horse, half man when he's done.
Shoot.
He already looks like a centaur, dude. That is massive.
We need somebody to make a fantasy movie where he is a centaur. That would be fantastic.
Well, back to comedy. We got Anthony Jauregui, who hosts the open mics on Thursdays. Yes. You had a busy week last week. I asked you at the show Saturday, but how did the show go on Friday?
Dude,
you were headlining and you were out.
I headlined in Clovis.
Yes.
Clovis. There's a spot out there. They usually give me some time. Always a good time out there. Maybe once a month I'll go over and headline. But it was a good time. There was a lot of racist things said for the comic right before me, so I went up and kind of added on to that. I didn't want to, guys. I didn't want to, but
set it up.
Yeah. They opened those doors, so I had to go in and shut it down. But it was a good time. In the middle, this is the second time I've been at a show in Clovis, in that room specifically, where I'm performing and a drunk teacher just walks in from the street and just starts heckling. And I don't know who. Listen, if you're a teacher,
different
out there,
teacher.
A different teacher,
really,
another white lady. It's like if you're a teacher and you're drinking and you're out in the town with your coworkers, the other third grade teacher, please don't just walk into a room and act like you own it. Because after the show, the host ended up putting her on stage, and she was like, what?
Damn.
It was like she was faded, dude. And and they don't police it that much in Fresno. That's this. Every time I go to Fresno, there's a show where there's a drunk person, a homeless guy, a centaur walked into the room. It's always something crazy. Mm-hmm. It's never like here in the club, or like, hey, any weapons on you? Put that thing down. No drinking. No going crazy. It's controlled here. But in other cities, they freaking, it's the Wild West out there.
Real quick before we move on to what you're going to get to tonight, I kind of want to pick your brain about something. Mm-hmm. How many times have you gone up where the guy before you has bombed and you've had to make a joke about them in order to kind of lighten the room? Is that something that you guys kind of lean on doing?
It just depends. So if it's a showcase, if it's a showcase with like comedians, I'm gonna say at my level, but like we're all in the showcase together.
Right.
Like there's 10 of us, or there's 7 of us, or there's 8 of us, all in the showcase together, and the comic before me doesn't do as well. I feel like that's more.
Not
That's less.
okay.
No, well, that's less to happen. Like you see that
Okay.
less often. But if they make like even my set this weekend, I kind of did like I ended on like a dirty, really gross joke, and it didn't do the best. And the guy went up after me and like referenced it.
Right.
And although I didn't bomb my whole set, that joke didn't do that great, but he kind of like
Right.
joked around with it and didn't really get anything from it
Right.
either. And then just kept moving, But I think that happens more in open mics where I'm like straight up going after someone that just bombed. Like, and that's where I have to be like, all right, guys, that was their first time ever doing stand-up. Cut them some slack, but it's a dude that's been doing it like 3 years or something, like that's where it's more often. But sometimes people get butthurt, a lot of people get.
Well, that's why I'm curious, because it's
Yeah.
like at certain situations, I guess it could benefit because obviously you're livening the room back up again.
Yeah.
Everybody can just kind of make jokes about it. But at the same time, you're making a joke at somebody else's expense who's trying to do this for a living.
Oh, yeah,
So
I had a
obviously-
thing. The dude here last year, I walked in. It felt like he was bombing. I was hosting, and I got off after with a lot of bad names. It was like killing in the room, but he was really disrespected by it. Went outside, started complaining, and then I caught wind of it. We had an altercation, and I haven't seen him since. So it's like, so you have that where comics, right? Comics come in and they're like, they're your homie. Like a lot of the comics are like, I don't say good friends, but like I'm one-on-one with a lot of people. Like I can talk to a lot of people, but sometimes dudes will come in that I don't know that well, and this is how I get down, and that's not how they get down, and they have issues with it sometimes. So you got to just be kind of mindful of that.
Just meeting the comedians here in town over the last few years. I mean, a lot of them are all straight up. If I don't think they're funny, I don't. I mean, I don't go to the shows.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll go, support my boys. And yesterday I was walking downtown on my lunch and ran into Nathaniel Webb.
Oh yeah,
funny dude. But this giant walking around eating an apple in the middle of the day, I was like, what the fuck is this doing? And I got to chatting with him, and he's a great dude.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask you because, I went to Saturday's show, and the headliner was, I don't know if you would call her a social media influencer type person.
She blew up on social media. Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is. Some people like certain comedy, some people don't. That's why there's so much different comedy. But I've seen just in the last couple of years, I don't know, maybe it's my high expectations of headliners or whatever, but I can see the difference on people that put time into their comedy, into their craft, compared to somebody that has time to premeditates their comedy in a social video or whatever. They're still funny. There's a crowd for it.
Yeah.
But personally, I was telling my wife the same thing. I was like, Anthony killed it tonight. And the guy that came on right after you, you guys both killed it. But I could see the difference when somebody's taking it a little bit more serious in their craft. And I was just wondering, because you deal with a ton of comedians, if that is something that, is taking away from the world of comedy, or is it just like a sub chapter of what comedy is these days?
I think since I started doing comedy in 2021, that's when everything kind of started shifting from like this was like post-COVID, where all of these crowd work clips started coming out. A lot of this like roasting the crowd, which things have existed for a while, but these last few years since I started, I've seen people that I was doing open mics with accelerate to the highest. They're touring. Renee Vaca. I was at an open mic with Renee Vaca. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's like a huge social media comedian, but he like humps the stool and like brings people on stage and stuff, like
makes a weird noise.
Right. So he I was at an open mic with him, and now he's selling out Dignity Health Arena. And that is someone that they put the time in, they put the effort in, but it's like someone that's sitting writing like he's not that. Yeah. Neither is like Natalie Cuomo. Like, I mean, she was just here, God rest her soul. But I mean, there's some comedians that like just make videos and then they get a lot of fans. Oh, my breakfast burrito's here.
I say that every other week. and
He
then
almost
eats
took
it
it from
right
him
in front of
last
me. But yeah, you can tell the difference because
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
maybe
you just I
nothing
know them.
against Natalie or
Sure.
nothing again because it was a great show.
I
Yeah.
think you said it well. I think there's an audience for it, but it's not the traditional kind of stand-up comedy that some people
Well,
are
say
used
like
to.
Anthony was just talking about, like how comedians that deal with the crowd
Yeah.
or deal with the heckling, they can bounce off things. If
Yes.
Anthony doesn't know if this comedian he's about to introduce or introduce the next one, how good they're going to do until he's walking on. So he's going on there with a hot mic, shooting from the hip, knowing, okay, is this going to hit or is this
Right.
not? But I could tell when what couple social media stars I've seen, they don't run the crowd like a lot of the comedians. They kind of like are waiting for that one answer so they can get into this joke that they've
Yeah.
already had written.
Right.
Nothing disrespectful against any comedians or anybody following their dreams, but I can just see it as a fan.
It's
And
a
it takes it
different
away.
style. It's
Yeah.
a different style, and it's just like it's like watching NFL versus flag football.
Exactly.
It's like this is someone performing at this level, and this is someone performing at this level. Maybe they're both entertaining, but I prefer this level.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Where someone is, writing things out, maybe weave some crowd work in, but doesn't rely solely on crowd work, because then it just like
Forced.
It's forced, and then it's disingenuous, and it's like you're making the crowd do all the work, and it's like when I hear straight up like, what do you do for a living? Like, I don't hear that often. I do hear it, but like when your whole set is, what do you do? Who are you? What do you do for a living? It's like, oh, come on. Like and now that I've been working at the club, I've seen a lot of, I'm not even like hating here, I just see, this is what I see, like these people that get huge followings and then now are having huge tours across the country. Like they have to make up an hour.
Yeah.
They have to like figure out how to make an hour worth of time. But a lot of these comics will probably be doing like 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
It's like
it goes back to the same story when Dane Cook was blowing up.
Yeah.
I took my ex-wife to go see him. That was her favorite. And we saw him live and it was trash.
Really?
And he couldn't get through 20 minutes.
Really?
He came out with 50 security guys like he was on top of the world and it wasn't hitting. So he
Yeah.
had a bad night. 10, 15 minutes into it, he walked off stage.
No way.
And I'm like, dude, we drove all the way to Fresno. And I'm like,
Save Mart Center or what?
yeah, but it was just okay, different comedians. And I've seen, smaller comedians. I'm trying to think the guy that used to do, was it Donnell Rawlings?
Oh,
Darnell
Rawlings. Uh-huh.
I saw him at the Old Well and he killed it. And
Oh,
he could have done another hour.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was probably, and I wasn't a huge Donnell Rawlings fan,
Neither
but
was I.
I remember listening to him do a bit, and I looked at Nathaniel and I said, "That is the funniest thing I've ever heard."
Yep.
Mhm.
That is the fun, and you're not gonna get that when someone just gets an answer from someone in the crowd, like, "Hey, what'd you do for a living?" "Oh, you're a gynecologist." That is that's not going to be the funniest thing in the world. The
Yeah.
funniest thing in the world is going to be something you've prepared and been writing and adding tags to and doing in different cities, and then you do it here, then it blows up. Like that is my NFL. That is what I prefer. That's like
Yeah.
my cup of
And
tea.
I didn't want to bring, I didn't mean to go this long with it, but I know you got some big shows coming up. I also saw something about the battles are coming back.
Roast battles. Yeah, roast
The
battles.
celebrity deathmatch one with you as the cartoon was hilarious.
Thank
dude.
you, AI, baby. Yeah. That's gonna be fun, dude. Have you guys ever been to a roast battle?
I have not, or at least not at the Well. So I'm excited.
So dude, it's verbal talking smack, the most abhorrent things you can say about people in a clever way. And typically people don't get their feelings hurt for that. They usually are like decent about it. But
You have to know what you're getting yourself into.
no, you do. And usually like, what the other person, you're talking, you're like, all right, so your grandma died, you have cancer currently, oh, this is good. Like you want all that kind of stuff, like, oh, you're allergic to eggs, give me that. Like
Yep.
you want all this like ammunition so that the day of you go and let them rip, and then you reveal their deepest, darkest secrets, But that's a good time, man. Like I've done a few roast battles. My buddy Anthony Rivers runs them, and it's really just like, and they're shorter too. So like comics will go up there, they'll do 1 minute of talking smack, and then it'll go to the other guy talking smack, and it'll go back and forth a couple rounds, and then the audience kind of votes, and it's like, yo, I like this one, I didn't like that one, and that's it. And it's really fun, and it's a Sunday show. So if you're not at church, come check it out.
Yeah.
April 12th.
Sounds awesome.
What time
Yeah.
does it start?
6:00, and tickets, I think the general admissions are like $15 plus some fees, so they're cheaper than like a Friday Saturday show.
So
but
20
have
bucks and you're in.
yeah, about
essentially.
that. About
Open
that,
mic
yeah.
tonight?
Yeah, open mic tonight, dude. Last week was freaking awesome, man. I know some personal friends of mine from Target that I haven't seen in several years. Yeah, not my ETL managers, but like some coworkers of mine. They just hit me up. They're like, "Yo, dude, I want to do stand-up comedy. I really want to get back in it. Like, not any. I want to try it. Can I come out?" And I'm like, "Dude, as long as you don't make jokes about gas prices, you
Right.
can come out." So there's gonna be new faces tonight, as always.
Love that.
And again, the last couple weeks, it's been killer. We had over 40 comedians last week.
Wow.
And there's some people that sat there from the beginning to the end, and that was over 3 hours of comedy. Like that's like Lord of the Rings type stuff, you know.
Right.
So, dude,
What was your record again? I know it's pretty high.
I think this actually broke
This
it.
was
like, well, because with the first one it was maybe like 41, but we had like
Right.
42, 43 this past
Wow.
past week. So, and dude, we had like 15 comedians from out of town. So there's a lot of people flowing through the city, coming out, visiting, and it's a good time, man. So really, if you haven't seen the open mic at the Well on Thursdays, come check it out. Headliners, new comics, and little old me.
I love hearing that the
Yeah.
Well is gating all of this, and just
Well, it's-
everybody from around the area and Fresno and all that is coming to
Yeah.
actually check this out. It's really cool, man.
It's awesome, dude. It's awesome.
That is fantastic. Anything
Yeah.
else you got to pump up before we got to let you go?
Dude, Nasser Al Reis. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So he's an Arab, Middle Eastern comedian,
Mhm.
Middle East American. Like he speaks English. Come out to the show. That'll be Friday night, and then Saturday, Dean Del Rey, club favorite. He's
Nice.
been. Tickets are at thewellcomedyclub.com, and Friday and Saturday, and then tonight is No Cover. So if you want to come out for No Cover ticket charge, that'll be that, and then Thursday, Friday, and
Heck yeah.
Saturday.
Get
Yeah.
you some
Can't break that.
nachos, get
Yeah.
some drinks.
That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. It's just a 2-item minimum anyway, right?
2-item minimum, baby, and there's options. So there's water, there's sodas. You don't have to get like a cocktail and like a full-on dinner menu. There's like, you know, little
It's a great
tiers.
staff. You don't have to. I like the seating chart because there really isn't bad seats
Mhm.
anywhere. And the place, man, it is popping, man. And it feels. I talked to the last comedian. Wasn't Natalie? It was the show before that, and he was saying it was the first time. He said, "Dude, I feel like I'm in LA.
Yeah.
Like this thing has been put together well." He said, "I've done smaller venues," and he said, "This one's killing it, dude." And there's so much comedy coming up. Dan texted me before the show, said, "Pump up all these shows." I'm like,
Yeah,
but
I
over
mean,
here,
Go brush your teeth.
get your butt over here and talk about it.
For real.
But no, go check out Anthony. You said doors 6, shows
Show
at 7.
7 tonight. Mhm.
Fantastic. Before we let you go, thoughts on the Puka Nakua situation?
Hey, he stole a move out of my book, dude.
Look, I
I
think
normally
it's
don't say
blackmail.
F all the Jews, but I do bite some chicks.
Oh,
Not on the
we knew
shoulder
it. You
either.
called it.
Told you.
You knew it.
Told
Oh, I heard you say. I was like, "Oh, Sparky knows me." Okay,
Oh,
Sparky
God.
knows me.
No, blackmail, not
Dude,
blackmail.
I think they're trying to get his draft price or his stock down so that like they don't have to. They're like, "Hey, dude, we want to extend you, but you're
So you think
anti-Semitic."
this is a plant, maybe?
Oh,
This is-
100%.
This is something
Seahawk
to make
fan.
sure
This is-
the,
dude, this is,
the bank don't get broken.
This is Les Snead. Is that his name? Like this is Les Snead calling up some Jew chick. Like, hey, tell him he bit
Got a
you.
package for
Oh,
you.
my God.
Here's some cookies.
Anthony, thank you for
Thank you,
your time, my
guys.
friend. We appreciate you as
Appreciate you.
always. We got to take a break. Bolt Brady on the other side. He'll help you make some money on Sweet 16 this weekend as the March Madness tournament starts up again today. This is the early bird special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. love how we have the same look at that computer. Like, what's going on? Odd. But it's time to talk Sweet 16. Guy Bolt Brady from Bolt Brady with Growth Steve Network is back to help you win some money. Sir, good morning.
What's happening?
Oh, not all the time. Baseball's back, man. I'm excited. My Phils are back, although, we're just in the short against the Dodgers. Anyway, hey, I have some hope and some faith. There's 162 games in our future that could potentially change that. Who knows?
Right.
How do you feel about this weekend with the Sweet 16? I know we have a ton of really great games to go down. Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, UConn. Do you think any of these lower seeds have a good chance to pull off an upset?
Well, it's funny, right? Because Texas is the lowest seed at 11.
Yes.
And I wouldn't really consider them a low seed, how much money they pump into their program.
Absolutely not.
It was, we were talking about the chalks a little bit, the favorites going into this, and crazy stats between round 64 and 32. The favorites were 39-9, which is the fewest underdogs to win a game in the last 7 years.
So I did see that because pretty much day 2 of the round of 64, I'm pretty sure every higher seed won outside of Iowa, right?
Right. And so you kind of like, oh, there's no Cinderellas, but at the same time, you get these great coaching matchups.
Right. Absolutely. And I can't wait to see guys like Dan Hurley and Tom Izzo go up against each other. I mean, what do you make of that game? I have the Spartans going to the Final Four. Do you think I have a good bet here?
Well, you know what? My brother agrees with you, so
Fantastic.
you're not out on a limb by yourself. But I actually have UConn here, and I'm going to take them as a best bet to win the game. It's just Hurley's actually 17-3 against the spread in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, wow. I was unaware of that. And obviously it just leans into your theory of just good coaching and good guards.
Well, yeah, and the coaching really comes into play. Like, there's a big difference when it comes to tournament coaching, one and done, and then having to prepare quickly. I mean, these guys get this week to prepare, but that's what's going to be neat to watch is there's so many great coaches.
Yeah, and Michigan State, man. When it comes to defense, that should be a hell of a game. I got UConn taking that game as well. But out of the 8 games, starting with the 4 today and 4 tomorrow, is there any best bet going up against the favors?
Well, a lot of people out there are taking the underdog with Arkansas. They're getting 8.5 points against Arizona, but I'm actually going to go the other way here and go with Arizona. I think Arkansas ranks 275th in the nation for 2-point defense. I think Arizona is going to overwhelm them.
What do you make of this Iowa-Nebraska game? Is that going to be an upset watch?
Well, so yeah, with Iowa, it's funny because Iowa's a 9 seed and Nebraska's a 4 seed, and Nebraska's only favored by 1.5. So Vegas is telling us that they think that this is going to be a close game. There's not much of a difference. I actually do have a best bet there, but it's with the under 131.5. Mm-hmm. These teams are obviously very familiar with each other. They went against each other and each won once, but one of the games was 57-52. So there was only 109 points total. And the other game went to overtime, but I think it's going to be more like the one that was 57-52.
So what is your prediction right now for a Final Four as we sit with these 16?
Well, so I heard you talk on the radio about, how many teams you have with the Sweet 16 left. And so I was like, oh, yeah, let me count. So I've got 13 of my Sweet 16 teams still left. And so I still like my Final Four of Arizona, Michigan, UConn, and Houston.
Fantastic. I like Houston's chances as well. That was one of my teams that I have sneaking all the way to the championship. I just like Arizona. I like what I've seen from them. And I honestly haven't seen anything that's made me concerned that they aren't going to push all the way to the championship and win this thing.
I'm all in on Michigan.
Oh, all in on Michigan. I thought you told me you were going to go Houston.
No.
I've
got Houston.
He made a last-second
I've got
pivot.
Houston in my Final Four, but I got Michigan taking it all.
Oh, all right. Well, they're a great team too. So I've got Houston and Arizona in the championship game with Houston winning. But I agree, Arizona, they're a very good team. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. But I just think that Houston being able to ride the momentum, playing in their home state these next 2 games is really going to help. And then we'll see what happens.
So the last game is the one we haven't really talked about. Duke and St. John's. Does Cinderella win there? Does Duke go down?
I think so. I think the defense is. I mean, Duke is not looked very good, right? I mean, they're dealing
Especially
with the injuries.
in round 1.
I mean, they were down to Siena at half by 13 points.
Right.
It's like the most points one seed has ever been down at that point. And so they just haven't looked the same. And I do think St. John's is rolling right now.
I love what I see from St. John's as well, but there is there's an interesting stat I saw out there that Duke has never won a national championship without going through St. John's first.
I saw that also. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
So I mean, could just be another route for Duke to make it to the championship and win as well. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean the line's 6.5, which seems a little big there. For me, I would lean with St. John's there, but I do have on my bracket. This is where I have St. John's moving on and Duke getting knocked out.
I would love to see Rick Pitino pull something off, though. That would be so much fun. Before we let you go, I have a couple more questions for you, just for your own of your own opinion when it comes to basketball. Kansas obviously was an early exit. Do we see Peterson and other freshmen like AJ going into the draft next year, or do you think they come back for a sophomore season?
Oh, I think they're gone. I think that was just, this is obviously just my opinion, but especially with Peterson, he didn't seem very much into this season at all anyway.
Right.
And I think it'd be hard for anyone not to accept that money right away. I know the NIL makes things a little bit different, but I think they're both going to be in the top 3, so I would imagine they're gone.
And then I lied. My last question is golf related, but your thoughts on Tiger coming back to competitive play in the TGL?
The indoor play.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was unaware that this was all done in front of a simulated screen, but he's back in competitive golf. At least it means he might come play in the Masters, maybe.
Right. Well, I know the Masters means so much to him. I love when Tiger plays, but to be totally honest, it doesn't do it for me when they're inside hitting against the simulator.
I've heard that a lot, actually. I mean, a lot of people think the TGL is just stupid. I like just seeing it in a different format, though. 3-team play. I mean, that's kind of different. PGA doesn't give us that.
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, if you want golf, you're at least getting it, right?
Right. Exactly. So, Spark, we got any text messages for Bolt at all?
No, I just wanted to bounce off this. CBS sent me a story this morning talking about a 14-year-old still has a perfect bracket. Yes, it is in the women's bracket, but still, I mean, considering we talked about it earlier this week about maybe we need to play in the women's bracket next year when we do our pick'ems. But this little 8th grader out in Pittsburgh is the last person on the planet with a perfect March Madness bracket. Yes, it is in the women's division, but still, either way, with 40 million entries and 40 games correct so far, that is insane.
Wow, that is insane. So I haven't been following the women's very, very closely, but have there been any upsets that kid was on?
It says like the potential upset of South Carolina, but he took that one. The big one is obviously the big championship where he has Texas winning it all, which we've talked about, who is usually winning this women's
just
March
hand
Madness.
The trophy to UConn already. They beat Syracuse by 50.
But how cool would an 8th grader be, dude? On
that'd be awesome.
Of the world, dude.
I was just about to say, is this kid got a future as a handicapper or what?
And they asked him, does he have any insight or anything? Was he like the Super Bowl guy that went to the parking lot the day before and timed out the Star Spangled Banners before he made the bet? But no, he said he hasn't watched one game, it was just all random picks.
I love how the story put this too. It says mostly by guessing. How else would he be doing this?
So different types of guessing.
My son, who's in 7th grade, I thought it was pretty cool. His teacher actually had them fill out a bracket.
Yeah, my teacher used to do the same thing with us in 7th and 8th grade. We would put them up on the wall and everything, and whoever got closest, I think, got a prize. I can't remember what we got, if I'm being honest.
So he's pumped. He's He's in first actually, and I didn't help him with it.
You didn't
know,
help
he
him at all. I
overheard
was
a
just
few
about to
things.
ask, how much did you tell him?
Uh-huh.
Like, how much did you give him?
Yeah,
But-
he knows that I liked Houston, but the rest of it, but I'm sure he hears me talk about it quite a bit.
So he's got to absorb something from you.
Other
and
kids'
Uncle.
parents are like, dude, that's Bolt's kid. What are you talking about?
Well, sir, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you as always. We will talk to you next week.
All right, take care, guys.
Let's take a break real quick. I want to get into this NBA expansion story before we get out of here. This is the Early Bird Special right here on KGEO Sports Talk. You got me on this one.
If you'd like some Condors tickets to Wednesday's game, April 1st, $2 hot dog night, text in right now, 661-842-2000. We've got your tickets.
Fantastic. Do not miss out on your chance to watch the Condors as playoffs are approaching. And I'm telling you, I see a cup in the future. I really do. I'm disappointed we didn't get to talk to our guy Ryan Holt yesterday. And again, you can blame the government for that because I had to do my civic duty. But I want to get to this expansion story real quick before we have to get out of here. We'll get into more of it tomorrow, especially what Adam Silver had to say about the tanking situation and what they're going to be doing there to kind of combat that. We'll explain that more in further detail tomorrow. But the big story is the fact that owners did approve the next step in a potential expansion for the NBA. Now, I want to play this bite from Adam Silver because there's something at the end of it that I really want people to hear, because this does really matter. But this is what Adam Silver had to say yesterday at a presser when talking about the expansion talks between himself and all the owners.
The discussion today and in the meetings leading up today went more to, all right, what are all the factors that we'll look at? And then ultimately the view is you could explore expansion more softly by just having conversations, but certainly it was my view and others that we owe it to these markets to be transparent and to be more formal with our approach to that, so that everybody feels they have a fair shot. There's an investment banker, there's people at the league office working on this. And so if you are interested, and I'll say that now to people who may be listening or watching this, if you're interested, call the league office, call PJT Partners directly in New York. And just want to make sure everybody understands there's been no handshakes on the side. There's been no commitments. There's been no promises to anyone. This is a completely transparent process. Nothing is set in stone right now.
So by nothing is set in stone, he means that they haven't found any potential buyers per se. There's plenty of bidders. And that also means that the cities necessarily aren't set in stone either. That's what he meant by they have a responsibility to some of these markets to really be formal about it. The two top cities are Seattle and Las Vegas. But that doesn't mean an expansion team is coming to both Seattle and Las Vegas. It could be coming to one of those cities. It could be coming to neither of those cities. All this means is that they are going to be taking the next steps to really figure out who a potential buyer could be, and really if they're serious enough to get this off the ground and get it started fast enough for a 2028-29 start. We won't know for sure who or what cities will be getting teams until about 20 months roughly before that season begins.
I know one of the big topics has been, how because I mean, if you look at the map, they're both
on the West Coast.
On the West.
And
so how would that work?
So the plan, from what I understand, is if they do bring in both Seattle and Las Vegas, they would both be in the West Coast, which would move either Memphis or Minnesota to the East. Personally, would much rather see Minnesota move to the East, because seeing an Anthony Edwards-led Minnesota team take on Boston, Cleveland, the Knicks in the playoffs,
would be entertaining.
And now you're getting a finals matchup potentially between the Timberwolves and maybe the Spurs or the Thunder. Ergo, America's top player in Anthony Edwards in a couple years against the European top players in Victor Wembanyama, potentially Nikola Jokic, potentially Luka Doncic, potentially Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, although he's Canadian. Money. I'm telling you, that is the move for the NBA if we do get this. But again, all of this is just the next steps in what is coming. That's what he means by nothing is set in stone yet. We don't know how many teams are coming, but the hope is that we get two, or at least my hope is that we get two, both in Las Vegas and in Seattle, which means the Supersonics would be coming back. I do have a list of names here as well from The Athletic that I want to bounce at you real quick in the last minute Vegas? We got here. For Vegas's team, yes, which is hilarious, some of them. The Las Vegas Jokers. Let's just get the tampering started now. Nicola, you got a new team, baby.
Do it.
The Blackjacks. Yeah, I didn't like that one either. This one's pretty interesting. We name it after Jerry Tarkenton technically and call it the Sharks. I'll get into more detail how that ties in. If you're a UNLV fan, you understand. The Las Vegas Oasis. Not really crazy about that one.
No.
Las Vegas Diamonds. We talked about that. Obviously, Diamonds clubs. But the one that I really like, the Las Vegas Dealers. Let you sit there and ponder on that one for a couple.
A little bit better.
We'll talk
getting
more
in the
about
right
this.
direction.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this tomorrow and a ton more. Our guy Chris Flail will be rejoining us. I believe Kyle Pitzer will also be rejoining us. Talk about their 10-year anniversary this weekend. But until then, we will talk to you guys at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Sparky, let's get out of here.